All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is the chapter we've all been waiting for. Chapter 14, Emergent Technologies. I think you're going to see a lot of stuff that we've already talked about in Chapter 13 mentioned here, but nevertheless, we'll just go through it real quick and then kind of wrap things up at the end. And so let's take a look at wireless technology. Like we said, Wi-Fi will connect to a local area network, and then its use has basically exploded across the country. You look at all these commercials for many of these carriers that have these networks out there. Some of these commercials are in either red or blue coverage areas, and so every day more and more of the United States and the world is being covered with Wi-Fi, which gives us instant access to the internet and all kinds of other digital connections. WiMAX is a recent entry, and what's different about it is that it can reach across long distance and means school-wide and district-wide connectivity without cables. And so like that, we don't need to be wired anymore. We can have a number of WiMAX stations and cover a wide area to connect various schools, school districts. And so WiMAX is something to really look at and see how it grows in the next few years. Now, Bluetooth is a little different. Like we said, it creates a PAN or a personal area network connecting PDA, smartphone, printers, TVs, DVD players when these are Bluetooth compliant. And so what you can do is create your own little node there that all kinds of digital equipment can connect right there. And so that opens up even more possibilities. You know, we can have a Bluetooth connection in every classroom and thus connect all of our electronics through that, and especially television and DVD players. Right now, students currently access school networks with laptops, netbooks, and PDA smartphones. And I think we're going to be seeing the phasing out of a lot of standalone computer labs where we had all of these desktop PCs all stacked in a row out there and all wired up. I think you're going to start seeing fewer and fewer of those, and you'll see more of the laptop labs where you'll just have regular seats and then the students bring their laptops, or else get them from a laptop cart and then get down to business. And then of course they can hook up with their smartphones and with the smaller netbooks if they have them. Those are especially good for smaller children. The continued evolution in wireless connectivity will continue to expand and be enhanced, making computers and instruction very powerful tools. We've got so much more mobility that we haven't had before, and the technology is going to only mature, and where it's going to go, who knows right now. Now we're looking again at virtual environments. Virtual reality is a 3D representation of real or imagined environments, and I gave you the example of the Light Center. For this one, I guess I'll go in a little different direction. I know NASA has used it quite a bit to train astronauts in spacewalking. I remember seeing a news flash over the internet showing how they would prepare, and they had these gloves and looked like a harness with a helmet on it, where they could see all where they were on the space station and manipulate all kinds of things as they would go about their business outside the space station. And so we have also at Acadian and a number of other schools a virtual reality welding machine, and that's pretty cool to watch. You put a headset on, you got this stick, and you can commence to welding. And what'll happen is that the computer will analyze your welding technique to tell you what you've done right and what you've done wrong, and suggest ways to improve. And like that, it saved a whole lot of money for us in terms of rods, where we don't need to spend that kind of money. Having them practice and get their technique down. They can practice with the virtual welder and really not burn anything or use up any supplies. And once they get their technique down, then they go do the real thing. And so it's been a cost saver for us, as well as a great PR and teaching tool. And of course, virtual environments now are what it's all about in gaming right now. And the complexity of these programs are not getting less. They're getting more and more complex and involved, and being more of a challenge to those that play these games. And avatars enable a digital stand-in to represent you in the environment. Those of you that may take this course with me next semester, one of the things that this little program that I'm using to record my lectures with can allow me to put an avatar or a representation of a digital representation of myself on this, and I just want to kind of play around with it to see what it would look like. And so stay tuned. There you might see a virtual representation of me this spring. Second Life is an alternative digital world that currently features many educational sites. My first exposure to Second Life was at a Board of Regents electronic learning workshop, and a number of professors from Tulane were using it for graduate students to provide some an environment for them to be able to collaborate and to share ideas and pass on information. I was hoping to maybe find some money that we could create a Second Life site that would be a virtual representation of our school, so that students could learn how the application process, know what they would have to do to be able to apply to come to school. And that never got off the ground, but at least I saw that as a possibility for using Second Life. And video games physically put the user in actions. Now, instead of just manipulating a little game console, now you are actually involved. We exercise software can make you hit the golf ball, bat the tennis ball back and forth, or run. Just a whole wide variety of physical actions which get students and people like myself up and moving. And we're talking again about my favorite research topic, artificial intelligence. These are programs that work just like the human brain. One type of AI, neural networks, learn and adjust responses based on previous interactions. These are really cool uh, systems because they are kind of wired up just like the brain is. You know, we've got years and years and years of brain research to see how all of the cells in our brain are uh, hooked up. Well, we've kind of used a very similar model to create neural networks. And just as conditions change, just as variables change, well, these neural networks do the same thing. Fuzzy logic is software that resembles human decision making. Many times the decisions that we make aren't the, well, for example, we take a objective test and we take a true false question. Normally there's a true answer and a false, or if it's not true, then it's false. And so we only have those two choices. But for a vast variety of choices we have all kinds of possibilities. And there are consequences with each decision that we make. And so the fuzzy logic software will help us kind of compare and contrast all the variables that we're dealing with to help us make the right decision, which may not be the best decision or may not be exactly what we would like to see happen, but yet it's the best based on the information that we have. And we see that have that happen to us all the time. And then expert systems offer suggestions and advice based on a database of expertise. That's the system that I created when I did my research. And you just create yourself a huge database of information about whatever topic that you're dealing with. And then based on the data inputs that you're getting, then that expert system will help you make decisions based on that information. And there's a logic behind it where you have a condition and then a consequence, and you kind of branch off. It's kind of like I'm kind of drawing a blank right now. Flow chart where you have decisions that you'll make throughout the flow chart, and then once you make one decision, you go in this direction, and then if you make another decision, you take another direction. And so they're very similar in their design. And then intelligent agents can help with specific tasks. Again, that's just a huge database of information that you and I can query to get the answers to the questions that we may have. Dealing with communications, collaboration, and the semantic web. The web provides a platform for unrestricted communications and collaborations. As long as we've got electricity, as long as we got connectivity, we are connected. And then that allows us to be able to communicate and collaborate on a wide variety of activities. The WeBook is a literary version of a social network which gives young writers a chance to be read. And so a young person or adult wants to write something, poems, short stories, novels, whatever it is, they can upload it to the web, to a WeBook, and then people can read it. mashup is a new tool which combines data from different sources, and so that's just another way to get together to collaborate. You know, all kinds of people from with all kinds of backgrounds coming together to offer their opinions, their expertise on a problem or a situation, and like that, um, we can meet and greet new people, but also uh, gain new insights into their points of view, and do a whole lot of give and take and collaboration uh, on that topic. The convergence of diverse and large amounts of data will transform the way to understand and represent information. You and I don't know about you, but I'm almost to the point of information overload. There is too much coming in too fast. Just trying to kind of keep up to be able to teach CPTR 1000 is almost a full-time job for me because of all of the new technology that's coming out every 6 to 8 weeks or months. I mean, look, all of the new iPads that Apple has rolled out in the last 6 months would take me weeks to kind of learn and to kind of get a feel for what they're all about. And let's face it, a student can go out there and purchase one of those, and then come to class and ask some questions, and I'll be embarrassed because I won't have the answers. But yet, like I'll tell them, let's look it up, because the information's out there. We just have to be able to find it. And so I'm finding myself to become more and more of a facilitator rather than an expert in this, because there's just too much coming down and it's changing too fast. Collective intelligence is large groups of people gathering, discussing, and collaborating on issues. Let's face it, you've got the Facebooks and the LinkedIns out there that can connect a whole lot of people. I've got people wanting me to join their LinkedIn networks that I guarantee you I don't know who they are, but I can get in with their group, and if and when I have some time, collaborate on some things. And I'm sure you may be involved in that yourself. The semantic web is a place where problems can be solved via technology's ability to process and connect vast and diverse amounts of information. It's just frightening the amount of information that is available at our fingertips, and the sophistication of the search engines that are out there now to be able to provide us with that information. It's like they've kind of built in an artificial intelligence into these search engines, where they can really focus in and give us all kinds of hits on maybe even very specific or even general search terms. So I guess my concern would be not the connections part of this, but it's the processing. You know, how do you process all of this just immense amount of data, and then find time to teach? Because let's face it, those of you in the technical area, your areas of expertise are changing constantly. On the academic side, let's face it, maybe some, math doesn't change, but the ways to teach it have. And the complexity of some of the tutorial programs that are out there to help students learn this stuff is just amazing. And so it's just being able to utilize this the right way. True knowledge interprets questions, seeks out a single answer rather than a list of potential choices from all online resources. And so there's the website that you can kind of go to and kind of play with this website. Um, there's all kinds of answers out there, but yet true knowledge will kind of search it out and come up with one answer rather than a whole wide variety of them. On the side of expanded mobility, web mobile computing is increasing, and the web device is able to access content are becoming more uh, speedier in their processing abilities. And so the days of our home PCs may be rapidly drawing to a close. And I'll be honest with you, if and when I'm ready to purchase another computer, once mine here at home goes out, I'll be honest with you, I doubt if I'll buy me a desktop PC. I'll probably invest in a laptop because of the mobility. You've got your web-enabled devices like your iPhones, BlackBerry, Google's, G1s, Pilots, as well as the little netbooks that work very well. We talked last time about wearable computers. They're still in the future, but they'll offer computer capabilities built into or small enough to be attached to clothing. And so like that, you can't get any more mobile than that whenever you can wear your computer. Now, the social aspect of the web was Web 2.0, where we are at the doorstep of Web 3.0. It'll be the arrival and full implementation of handheld computing. And so you and I are going to see all kinds of investment, all kinds of research, all kinds of applications into these small handheld devices, which allow us all kinds of mobility. And so Web 3.0 is going to come to the point where we can compute from anywhere. And I think, like I had mentioned earlier in the course, I think this is going to be where paper books may not be a necessity anymore. Everybody's going to have a smartphone or an iPad or something very similar, and so you'll just read it off of that. Of course, convergence is the blending of technologies into single pocket devices such as smartphones, and so they are becoming more and more capable by the year. And there are some estimates that within about the next 5 years, they'll be as powerful as most desktop PCs are today. The brick and mortar educational environments will no longer restrict learning with current and coming technologies. So our four-wall classroom is not going to confine us anymore. We will be free and open to compute wherever we want to, and our students. Now, here's one that we all need to be familiar with: grid and cloud computing. Now, communication via network may turn out to be as significant as the internet itself. So being able to communicate via networks within our organizations are going to be very, very important to us, and going to offer us all kinds of capabilities to work from home, as well as our jobs and everywhere in between. Now, grid computing joins many computers on a single task and provide greatly enhanced processing power. And so I told you about the SETI at home um, uh, software that you can download, and that there were well over 1 million people right now involved in it. And so you're going to see more and more of this type of collaboration happening, because many computers can certainly uh, build the computing power that it would take to do some very, very complicated things. Cloud computing links computers together, but members individually use a small portion of resources for their specific needs, like the Apple's Mobile Me, or the um, Microsoft has their own version, and I can't think of it right offhand. It'll probably come to me. But more and more, we're going to see cloud computing become more a part of our daily use of computers. Uh, with Windows 8, Microsoft within the next few years is going to be moving more towards a cloud computing environment, where instead of going out and buying Windows 8 or the Microsoft suite of software, you and I are going to pay um, a monthly fee to Microsoft, or a monthly license, let's call it. And we're going to have full access to all of Microsoft software. And Microsoft will also even give us some space on their servers to store our information. And so you and I aren't going to need hard drives anymore. The hard drives that will store information are going to be out there wherever Microsoft has their servers located. And like that, all we're going to need in our personal computer is a processor and a way to connect using a network or Wi-Fi, and we can work and do whatever we want. And so look for that change to happen. Peer-to-peer networking uses the principle of the grid. Users connect computers directly, sharing a portion of their drive rather than sharing space on a server. So uh, my computer and maybe somebody else's computer there at Acadian, instead of going to that information going to our servers, we can store it on our computers, since we may be sharing data like in a common folder or something like that. That would be on one or both of our PCs. We're going to kind of shift gears here and kind of look at some of the technology here about displays. Flat panel LCDs were a significant advance over the old CRT cathode ray tube monitors out there. But when it's all said and done, they're going to be primitive compared to those that are right now in development, like your FOLEDs, flexible organic light emitting devices. They can be small enough to roll up into a pen, or large enough to be a wall mural. And we're talking color here. And the thickness or consistency of plastic wrap. And so who knows what kind of possibilities that is going to open up for us. Electronic paper is transparent film with millions of black and white beads of ink. Current causes the beads to rotate to black or white and produce an image. And so we can get a monochrome image very, very easily with electronic paper. And then interactive displays will use a touchscreen technology to select, zoom in, out, change views or applications and more. And right now, companies like CNN and other network news companies are already using interactive displays. Especially, I was very impressed during the last presidential election how really effective some of these news companies were, or networks were, utilizing interactive displays to tell us what was going on during election night. And then, what about some emerging issues? Well, computers as appliances are becoming as commonplace in homes as TVs and phones. And so, just like people need washing machines, dryers, stoves, well, computers are just going to be another appliance that people will buy. Tablet PCs may replace books, paper, and pencils as computers continue to evolve. I know I was very interested to read some of your responses to one of the assignments where I kind of posed that question. And, who knows? But as these tablet PCs become more and more sophisticated, more and more capable, and much, much, much cheaper, uh, that may happen. And let's face it, the price of paper is doing nothing but going up. And of course, computer literacy, the digital age means teachers will expect this just as they expect reading and writing. So we're going to utilize technology and utilize distance ed. We need to expect that our students can handle it. And kind of get out of that mindset that this is nothing for them. In fact, if the truth were known, they're already doing it right now to some extent. And this is an issue that I don't know if it's going to get resolved anytime soon, but certainly it's something that we're going to have to deal with, and that's the decentralizing of instruction. This may eventually bring bigger changes than equipment or skill levels of students and teachers. I don't have to be in front of a classroom to be able to teach. In fact, I'd love to challenge my administrators to let me teach from home. I could probably do it right now, but they won't hear of it. And I'm sure yours do too. But let's face it, there's so many people right now who telecommute and work and collaborate right now from home. It's just a matter of time till education is going to get to the same level. Distance and alternative delivery, already redefining instruction. There are some private companies that are already doing it. And virtual learning will take students to learn anywhere, anytime. The regular old 8 to 2 o'clock school day will be a thing of the past. We can teach at 2 o'clock in the morning to a class there on the other side of the world. Let's face it, I wouldn't want to do it, but somebody can and probably will. But we aren't limited anymore. And that, of course, deals with the changing role of us. We're going to find ourselves in new and more challenging roles. And let's face it, we've got to be able to adapt to stay up to with those changes. We'll facilitate learning by creating optimal instructional experiences and assisting students with them. Instead of going out there and getting our lesson plans or else our curriculum guide, you and I may have to sit down and start thinking of how we can integrate the technology that's at our disposal uh, to benefit our students. And we certainly won't be bound to a single classroom setting. Like I said, I'm looking forward to doing some distance learning uh, real time next semester. There's already an instructor that's doing it right now, and she says that it's it takes a little getting used to, but uh, students from both campuses in New Iberia and Crowley are doing well. And certainly we're going to have to be essential to design it and deliver the learning. You and I are going to be the ones that are going to have to sit down and make this thing work. And not be isolated, be part of a network of teachers focusing on educational best practices. Um, I would like to get together with more people to sit down and see how we can connect. We're going to have a couple of distance ed systems installed in Acadian campus. I'd love to be able to see if the same thing is available in the high schools in the area, like that. Maybe once or twice a month, or maybe one of these days in real time, we can offer courses at the high school level where students could get extra credit before they come to school. They wouldn't have to leave the schools that they're at right now. And so, who knows where it's going to go? The technology and the digital age will make great changes in teaching and learning as we know it. For those teachers that are just starting out, they're just graduating from college and starting to their careers, I'm sure they're going to see some major changes in the way that they do things. And let's face it, in the 25 some odd years that I've been teaching, it's a whole new world. But I just can't imagine what these new teachers are going to be experiencing 25 years from now. The digital age designs offers much capacity for individualization, especially those students that have a lot of special needs issues with mobility and other problems of a physical and mental nature. We could pretty much individualize coursework for them and thus take them further than where they are right now. Technology will bring many changes, but is a tool with great potential only when understood and used properly. We have to be very focused on how we're going to use this technology and understand it. Understand its benefits, but also understand its limitations. And let's face it, they do have limitations. And we need to understand them and build our programs around the strengths rather than the weaknesses of these systems, and not be afraid to say, no, this isn't going to work because it's not for us. We don't have the infrastructure. Instead of spending a whole lot of money and investing a whole lot of money that maybe we don't have, that maybe an old-fashioned method would still be just as good. And so that wraps up chapter 14's lecture. I don't know about you, but this has been a very enlightening course for me. It's been a joy and a privilege for me to be able to teach it with you. And I'd look forward to the opportunity to be able to discuss with you about some of these things face to face. But my goal was to try to get all of the lectures and all of the course content available to you before Thanksgiving. And I think I'm going to accomplish that. And so um, I'm going to upload this lecture. And after that happens, everything that you're going to need to finish the course will be available to you. And hopefully you can get all of that done by the second week of December. I don't know when grades are going to be coming due with capital area, but let's just kind of look at December 7th as being a target date to kind of wrap this thing up. If they give me a date later on, then I'll go ahead and post it there in Joule. In another one of the content blocks. In fact, the last one, I'll go ahead and once I get contacted by capital area to find out the final day of class, then I'll post it down there, and we'll go from there. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up.